Okay, thank you everyone for joining us for Open Web Foundry V7. Open Web Foundry is one of the cornerstones of the Arweave community, so we're super excited to share with you all the new things people have been working on over the last few months. So without further ado, I'll throw it over to Seb.
Thanks, Sam, and thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We have super exciting projects presenting today. We're going to kick things off with Ryan, who's going to be talking to us about Spyder. Ryan, why don't you come up here? How's it going, man?
What's going on, Seb? Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
We can see
awesome to see so many little gathered Tom buddies in the audience. This is pretty cool.
Awesome, go for it.
Cool. Your point of view has value. This point of view is your story, the unique connecting points that represent you through time. But by engaging in Web 2, your story, your very identity, is not in your control. Welcome to Spyder, a gamified search and discovery network powered by people. Web 2 search and recommendation platforms monetize your online identity by harvesting, indexing, and storing your interest data. These platforms win by selling your personal data to private marketplaces, where your identity is bought with a price. Spyder changes the game by flipping marketplace incentives in favor of people-powered data. We believe that the value of open markets, the free exchange of ideas, goods, and services, should be governed, owned, and controlled by the people. Spyder will power future-forward marketplace experiences by uniting people and communities through shared values of interest. We call this people-powered curation network the web. At the center of Spyder are PIDs, what we call permaweb IDs. PIDs are Arweave DataFi applications composed of an atomic NFT, permaweb app, and SmartWeave contract. Permaweb IDs aim to be a permanent and non-transferable identification layer that secures your self-identified on-chain interest. Your interests, curations, and reputations have value. With Spyder, this value is in the form of self-sovereign data. Any user-owned asset, such as a blockchain token, NFT, POAP, or credential, can be added as an interest to your permaweb ID. To add an interest to your permaweb ID, simply stake an interest token plus PST to your PID. This liquidity pool pair will then be added to Spyder's index, our decentralized exchange of interests. When all interest tokens have been staked to your PID, your web has been formed. As an Arweave DataFi app, your web page can be securely updated and shared at any time. As your interests change, so can your web. Your web's interest can expand into curated categories called nests. You can think of nests as compound interests. Nests can be infinitely composed together, providing an interactive pathway for users to discover your interests. When a user likes one of your interests, they can stake that interest to their own web, earning you points for your views. All attention is tracked by Spyder's index, gamifying the search and discovery experience. Spyder's index will act as an automated market maker that measures the views that your web page receives cross-network. This automated market maker will then programmatically distribute points in proportion to your web's accrued views. At scale, this decentralized exchange of interest will serve as a prediction market, connecting and incentivizing users based on shared interest. We believe that this advancement is the beginning of a people-powered search and recommendation engine, powered by Arweave's permaweb. So let's talk about a quick roadmap ahead. Spyder will realize the potential for Arweave's composable DataFi architecture. We will use first principles modeling to break down the build process into phases of 3, each with its own utility within the market. In phase 1, we will build out the Spyder DataFi dApp. Here we'll focus on Spyder as a single-player experience that brings utility in the form of gated access to Discord, leveraging Discord's Web3 footprint for user onboarding. The second phase of Spyder will add multiplayer navigation, allowing users to discover a network of interest that can be added to their webs. In phase 3, we'll launch Search, Spyder's own decentralized gateway on Arweave. When all 3 phases are in sync, the Spyder OS will be born. Spyder OS will be a cross-chain composable protocol that incentivizes other communities to integrate and build upon Spyder's operating system. All right, cool. Let's jump into the demo. So here we're looking at a prototype of the Spyder user interface. So Spyder is a gamified search and discovery experience. We want gameplay to be playful, intuitive, and to create a user experience that is approachable to anyone starting their crypto journey. This user interface is built in WebXR, meaning it's cross-compatible with desktop, mobile, virtual reality, and augmented reality in the future. The goal of Spyder is to earn points for your web views. These points of views are PST tokens needed to unlock user-controlled experiences. With this theme, players can change their point of view, their perspective of play. Here we're looking at web view. Once there's a critical mass of users, one can imagine navigating the web and staking other people's interest to your web, where they receive points for their web views. Here's web view from a macro perspective. Each web represents a single point of view. Imagine these points interconnected together via relatable interests. This becomes the foundation for Spyder's on-chain recommendation engine, a people-powered prediction market made possible by Spyder's index. Now is where it gets really interesting. So with WebXR, we can step inside the web into an immersive metaverse worldview. Once inside worldview, we can literally explore people's interests through their perspective, through their points of view. This uniting of people through minimum viable interests is not economically possible in Web 2 today. With the advent of Arweave, the permaweb, and the whole Arweave ecosystem, we have an opportunity and a chance in time to create a people-powered perspective today. This is our point of view. Meet me in the mingle, and I'd love to show you a preview of what this world view looks like after. So just quickly about me, I'm Ryan, aka Voices of Him. I'm a beatboxer, an artist, creative technologist. And for the last 17 years, I've basically tried to mix magic with communities, doing some really interesting projects with varied results. Through Open Web Foundry, I found new community, new purpose, and a new family. And together we'll build this new web. I just want to say thank you to all my friends and family out in the ecosystem. And this idea may seem like a mission to Mars, but because of the architecture and the things that have been built out on top of Arweave, this idea is possible and the time is now. So this is just my point of view, and all are welcome. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty. Thanks, Ryan. Apologies for the interruption. Up we have Tim, who's going to be presenting DigitalMe. Hey, Tim.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm the founder of DigitalMe. Hope you can see my screen. Yeah, DigitalMe, what do we do? Our mission is to help you sync your data from any source permanently to a decentralized network. And our vision is to give everyone full ownership of their digital selves. And yeah, dying sucks. Yeah, I think we can all agree on this. You can do a lot of more things than die. In real life, the only way to permanently preserve yourself right now is cryonics, freezing yourself, but no one has been defrosted yet, right? So we found an easier solution. Our lives are becoming increasingly more digital. We tweet our opinions, we chat with friends, post holiday photos on Instagram, and talk with grandma over video. And through all of this, we are generating tons of data that can be used to create a digital version of ourselves. So in the end, while you may be able to die offline, you want online. And yeah, of the 16 hours you're awake, think about how much time you spent on your devices. I did it myself, and it's really a lot, really a lot. And if everything about you is digital and online at some point, then whoever controls this data also controls you. And the desire for ownership and autonomy over this data will become then central to your personal identity. And your digital self cannot be left in the hands of countries, political parties, companies, or anyone else really, but only in your hands. And this screams for a decentral solution. How do we do that? Basically, we synchronize all of the data that you wish using APIs that third-party applications provide from any source, really. And we provide an easy sync upload tool for all the channels like chat apps, social media apps, video apps, music apps, work apps, and much, much more. All the data that you produce can be synced and stored permanently. And Arweave is the perfect tool for that. Yeah, I mentioned permanent life extension in the beginning as one use case. But really, there are many, many more use cases. You could tailor and train an AI bot, which is much closer aligned to you, and use this as your assistant, or retrain your brain after an accident. You could review this data, even review your whole life, provide the data to research institution, and much more. The possibilities are endless, and because we create new bridges between Arweave and other services. These applications can extend in so many ways. We cannot even think of all the ways that people would potentially use this or build on top of this. And this is the really cool thing, that it has the potential for so much more. And yeah, these are our channels. I go quickly through it. We have our chat package, our social media package, our work package, and yeah, we have all the apps integrated, like social media package, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. And yeah, with different pricing models. Now I'm going to the product demo, yeah, which Maxime will present. Yeah.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Maxime presenting the demo. Let's go. Like here you can see a typical workflow on how our bridge works with third-party data sources. First, we are going to authorize to the third-party application. In this case, it's Instagram. Then we select the images which we want to upload to Arweave. Now, let's put our passphrase to encrypt the data using AES symmetric algorithm. This gets uploaded to Arweave, and voila, the transaction is made. We can extract the data from Arweave through the transaction ID, either specific images, etc., or all data related to my Instagram account. That's it. Thank you all for listening. I hope you like the demo. Let's get back to Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Maxime. Yeah, guys, you should see our roadmap now, I hope. Yes. Yeah, this is our roadmap. Basically, by August, we want to have 100 paying users and the chat package ready with all the channels. By October, 500 monthly paying users with the social media channel ready with all the packages. And yeah, who are we? Yeah, me, I'm a prior blockchain startup founder, sold the startup. I'm looking to do something with more impact. And Muta here is our front-end guy with team lead experience. Maxime, yeah, is not only an avid blockchain auditor, but also a developer. And Lucas is doing community management. Yeah, we're coming to the end. Thank you for listening, everyone. Something special for the end. We have 25 signups to get 1 year of free service. Find me at the Mingle area to claim your free year. Happy to be here. Thanks, Seb. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, everyone organizing this. And yeah, enjoy the demo.
Thank you very much, Tim. That was really interesting and really cool. Next up, we have Mike, who's going to be talking to us about Bluebird. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Seb. Thank you, Seb. Thank you, team at Arweave. I'm excited to be here and share with you my vision for Bluebird. Again, I'm Mike Jensen, and we're sharing our vision for the future of on-chain media management and monetization. So like myself, you, and millions of others, you got excited this past year about an NFT project, a piece of art, and you went ahead and purchased an NFT. Now the question is, what can you really do with it? Maybe you get to attend a cool party on a yacht, make it your profile pic, but that's about it. As of now, NFTs lack utility and ability to monetize and have unclear ownership and usage rights. Speculation is the only real utility at the moment. So you, along with millions of others, are sitting in Discords, chatting on Twitter or Telegram, asking, what's next? What can I do with my NFT to create value, monetize, or flex in the digital and physical world? NFTs are awesome, but it's just the beginning. We believe in a future where almost all content and media assets live on-chain, from storing your personal photos and Instagram feed to the biggest media, film, and TV properties. However, to be ready for this massive opportunity, we need the tools and infrastructure for anyone to easily manage, monetize, and license their content, whether you're an individual or a big media company. It's time to say goodbye to speculation and hello to progress. Enter Bluebird. Our objective is to make your content work for you. We're building the tools, infrastructure, and platform to power the future of on-chain content management, NFT media asset monetization, rights management and access, and licensing. And we're doing this both for individual creators, NFT owners, large brands, and media companies. People want to earn. The massive Yugaland sale was not just about Bored Apes, but about the promise of earning future revenue through an asset. Now is the moment to empower the individual to earn. Whether that's a game designer licensing their amazing avatars to a new blockchain gaming company, or a 19-year-old who started making Bored Ape toys and sold $700,000 worth of toys in the last couple months. The opportunity is there. We just need to make the tools simple and easy to access for anyone in the community. Through the Bluebird platform, we're building the licensing infrastructure for any creator, content owner, brand, or NFT project to easily set and manage licensing. The licensing terms are set and stored on Arweave, and the media asset is posted to the Bluebird marketplace or a creator marketplace where it's available for the consumer. The licensing smart contracts are dynamic themselves and can adjust over time and include adding and removing users. For the user looking to license content through Bluebird, we provide clarity and verification of rights and terms, allowing them to easily license the asset and create value. In this example, creating merch. In the same way this works for individual owners or individual licensees, we aim to provide APIs to NFT communities, platforms, projects, media companies, DAOs, etc., to help organize and empower their holders. I'd like to share with you a quick demo. I'm going to jump over to my other screen here. This is what we've recently built, which is an indication of what's possible, both in terms of creating badges, which I'll discuss here, and content. This is our landing page. I'm going to scroll through this here. And what we've done here is create a platform that allows anybody to create badges, stickers, or any other media asset that, for example, in Discords, people are creating tons of fan art content. This enables them to take that content, put it into our platform, and license it, add descriptions, add tags, mint that asset, in this case, CryptoPunk, as a potential badge, goes into our marketplace, our feed of content where anyone can access it. In this case, we're going to go into what we call the Remix Studio, which is where you're able to upload other images. So in this case, the Starry Cosmos version, go into our badges section where badges have already been minted, and then begin to adjust and manipulate and put those over content. So you can see how this effective compute over content enables badges, stickers, or any sort of asset to be multi-layer and composable in nature, which is adding utility. I'm going to skip ahead here so you can just see where it gets created, the ability to share it, put it into the world, and then certainly put it on our platform where anyone can access it or download it for personal use. Now I'm going to jump back in and tell you more about where we're headed in terms of adding and building our licensing infrastructure, which is where I think there's a massive opportunity to continue to grow. So what we are building here is our licensing tools. These are a few images of our current build, which we aim to launch shortly. It includes simple and easy to use licensing tools and features, such as preset licensing standards with options for the user to customize pricing, duration, and usage. Our goal is simplicity and clarity, both for the owner and consumer, to control and managing licensing rights and pricing. In terms of how we make money, we'll take 2.5% fee on any transaction. As we move to a more decentralized, creator-controlled storefront model, we see a ton of opportunity to deliver APIs that can be used by these platforms, NFT projects, DAOs, brands, and media companies. To date, we've been funded by multiple grants from the DFINITY Foundation, and we're gearing up to raise a seed round in the very short term here. We just released this private MVP and are currently building the licensing components and aim to launch our complete V1 this fall, followed by our API launch. We have an incredible team of seasoned builders and entrepreneurs. I myself recently built a company and sold it from the ground up as a founder, as well as decades of experience working with big media companies, big tech companies, and we believe we have the talent to do this for the media and content industry. In short, it's time to unleash these incredible assets that right now most of them are just hidden in a wallet, put them to use, and get them earning. Thank you very much. Please join me at my table, and happy to share and give you guys some incentives to sign up and be part of our early program. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mike. I think a lot of people are going to be heading over to your table to actually use this. So thanks for that. All right. Next up, we have Adam, who's going to be presenting to us Dryad. Hey, Adam.
Thank you so much for having me here. So my name is Adam. I'm going to present Dryad. It's the first semantic primitive for Web3. I'm currently working at a blockchain startup where I handle most of the legal matters, and Dryad comes out of the pain points I've experienced doing that. I realized that an idea I worked on during my math PhD at Oxford can help with this. So legalese is opaque when it should be clear. flowery and dramatic when it should be plain, and it's far too long. Law is the mother of all legacy systems, and this matters because law is the operating system for society. In short, the problem is that legalese is like a crappy coding language, but it doesn't have to be. We're moving towards a digital state, and we have the opportunity to completely reimagine legal contracts from the ground up. So let's do that. Let's keep their essential function, remove the pain, and make them cool. That's where Dryad comes in. It's a notational system for clearly specifying the relational structures within concepts. It reduces that structure to their essence. Let's check out a demo. And by the way, what I'm going to show you is already up and running publicly. So this here is, we have two concepts, and we're going to focus for the moment on the one on the left. Okay, so we can read this off. The company signed an employment agreement, and Bob signed an employment agreement. All that happened on January 1st, 2020. As you see, as I hover over these things, we get highlights on the various words underneath. Converse is also true. If I hover on the words, I get highlights on the part of the graph that is relevant. So the employment agreement, this is just one dot, but this itself would be a graph, and you can expand that out and show it in its full complexity. And then you can contract it back into a single node. I have it here as just a single node to keep things simple. So this is kind of what you would call this is when the employment agreement got effected, as it were. So let's look at this concept on the right now. Here we have a date. That's the date of the employment agreement. And then you have the date now. So the date now minus the date of signing is greater than 365 days. This idea here is just a time delta. That's all it's expressing. So what if we want to set up vesting for Bob? Vesting has a few different components to it, but we can create the concept of a cliff by taking these two concepts, locking them together. We can move this over like this, just to make it a little cleaner. And then we're going to specify that both of these things need to be true. So he needs to have signed it at that date, and then we'll label this. And the time delta needs to be greater than 365 days. And as you see, we just connected these concepts, and all of this is now all one idea. So that is the basic way that it works. You build up concepts compositionally. And as you'll note, you have the option to connect your wallet here. So I'll go back to the presentation now. The idea of connecting your wallet to concepts kind of is the foundation of what I'm going to talk about next, right? Because once you've done the hard work of specifying the concept, you can save it to the permaweb, and then you can get paid. So long as you didn't encrypt the concept, anybody can read it from the permaweb, and then they can change it as they wish. And because these concepts are associated with wallet addresses, the small fees that the users pay are then passed back to the creators for the concepts. If those users, change something in an interesting way and then saved what they changed to the permaweb, they then become creators. Other people can use what they did and build on that. The more concepts that are in the lexicon, the more possible combinations, and then combinatorial growth is highly explosive, so value capture is highly nonlinear, and the fact that permanent storage is permanent is clutch. Once storage is permanent, the value capture becomes grow only. So legal contracting is just one of the applications of this system, right? So Dryad is dealing with natural language, so you can think of all these different applications. You can use it to learn new things quickly, for DAO operations, for debate, for voting and governance. There's just a lot of possibilities. And importantly, all of these things can be tied to smart contracts. So we've come a long way with the UI. What we're going to be doing in Q3 and Q4, finishing the UI to add some functionality and readability. Developing a lexicon is a big one. There's a profile page, which you can see here on the right. So users can basically associate their wallet with a profile and then have every contract, every concept they've interacted with beyond there. And then it'd be great to get some users of this thing so we can get some feedback. So I'm currently building this myself with the help of several excellent and interested people. Colin is a math professor at Oxford. He was my supervisor. Zilka is the general counsel for Gnosis DAO. She's a crypto OG. Yev is also an OG. She was voted one of the most influential people in blockchain this year. And Romani is a DAO contributor who's very good at business. So we're always looking to expand. If you're a developer, please come find me. Let me know if you want to contribute. The GitHub is there. If you want to contribute to the lexicon, that would also be great. You can go to the link that's up above. It's a really good time for that because it's so early. The simple concepts are going to be the most lucrative, and those simple ones also won't be around forever. So finally, I just want to say thanks to the Arweave team for their support in putting this presentation together, and thank you all for your time and attention.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. That was really interesting. I'll definitely be using it myself and in our ops team. Cool. Next up, we have Robert, who's going to be talking to us about Oxygen Chain. Hey, Robert, why don't you come on up here?
For inviting us to participate in this. As you already heard, my name's Robert Colvin, co-founder of Oxygen, a blockchain-based project to clean the world's waters. Despite multiple efforts, the dire ecological situation that we find ourselves in is not improving. There's two main reasons for the failure of the current initiatives: lack of transparency and misaligned incentives. Because the data is opaque, it is hard to validate, difficult to enforce the results, and creates a lack of accountability. Secondly, opaqueness exacerbates incentive misalignment. There are little financial benefits in doing a good job and few repercussions for continuing to contaminate. Facilities that are complying with environmental standards are being outcompeted by those that are cutting corners. We address this problem through real-time monitoring of waste. We're able to calculate the reduced amount of contaminants from the untreated and treated waste and derive the reward amount from these inputs and outputs. All of this data will be pushed to Arweave to provide an immutable record of history. This is my co-founder, Daniel, who will show you what one of these waste treatment facilities look like. These are the three phases of the treatment: raw effluent, first oxidation phase, and the treated. The raw effluent goes into this container, and we have multi-parameter sensors installed that are generating readings, sending it to the flow meter, the IoT, and finally the oxygen node, which pulls data for validation and consensus to generate rewards. Rewards come in the form of oxygen tokens that are paid per cubic meter of treated waste. Now you can see here on the map, there's 5 of the facilities currently in beta in Germany. Just kidding, this is Brazil. If you go into the dashboard, everyone will be able to see the activity of each facility, including rewards generated. So why will system owners share their data with us? Well, highly effective facilities will want the world to know and benefit from the monetary incentives. As we onboard more participants, this will shine a light on neighboring systems, and pressure will mount as gray spots on the map are surrounded by compliant facilities. Onboarding will be facilitated through partnerships with a variety of groups. These include legislative agencies to offer fine reductions in exchange for provable efficiency increases. We're working with educational institutions, including universities, labs, and environmental consultants to increase awareness. Sponsors and integrators will buy, trade, and burn oxygen to market themselves as real-time green alternatives as a subscription or service. These groups include sponsors from nonprofit organizations, gaming, and metaverse companies we are currently working with, as well as DeFi protocols looking to integrate with Oxygen. Oxygen tokens owners will buy Oxygen on exchanges and DEXs, burn Oxygens for healing credits, stake and lock tokens to gain rewards. In regards to tech, Oxygen Chain will run on Polygon Edge with its own native token. And we will use Arweave as a storage layer. Our current 5 participants are in the following industries: food and beverage, oil and gas, and sewage treatment. We are looking to expand to an additional 80. Joining 2 worlds, a group of experts in waste management, as well as a dedicated team of crypto nerds. Follow us on Twitter, join us on Discord, visit our site. I thank you for the time. Look forward to talking to you in the Miggle session. This was only 5 minutes that we could cram into all of this, so there's plenty more that we can talk about. Thanks again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robert. And indeed, make sure to head out to the tables in the Mingle area after the presentations. All right. Next up, we have Alex, who's going to be talking about context. Hey, Alex.
Hi, Sebastian. Thanks for having me. And today I'm going to be speaking about something that's quite interesting and everybody have a lot of fun working with. It's standards. And I start with this, Blue. So if I ask you guys what Blue is, probably you don't know, because like this is just data. And one of the things that data needs context to be understood. So basically, there's no way that you can use that in a global way, like a global database of things, if you cannot put context on this data. It's like, I feel blue, the car is blue, my name is blue. What is blue? So data without context is completely incomplete. And here's where we come. So basically, what we're trying to build is a framework to create and evolve standards as public goods. And I think that's quite important. Like in my experience, being in the blockchain world for almost 10 years, when I remember when I started with blockchain, it was not even blockchain, it was only Bitcoin. Nobody was using that word blockchain or even Web3, by the way. And since then, I've been involved in a lot of initiatives related to self-sovereign identity. Even like 3 years ago, I started my own association about blockchain and self-sovereign identity. It was quite successful, more than 500 companies, big banks, even government of Spain. So a lot of people joining this association. And the thing is that in the 3 years that I was in this association I created, I could not achieve a simple standard, a simple schema on how information on SSI was represented, okay? And that's a problem because like, I'm a coder. I need to basically deploy and release code. And the last thing that I need is to debate about the names of the things. So basically what I want to do is like, okay, can I go to somewhere where I can get all of these schemas and then I can start like working with this data? And the problem is even bigger because like, imagine that, for example, I want to create the metadata or the metadata for an NFT. That's a card in a game. So basically, I just go around and looking for other people that they are doing that and trying to look for examples and I see different kind of people doing completely different stuff. Then I try to reach organizations, associations, even standardization bodies. Nothing. Like probably, and I've been involved in with ISO and many other standardization bodies, W3C, some of them, and it takes probably years or months or years to even reach for a standard. And my experience with them, honestly, was that they really do care about having their name on the standard, but they don't really care too much about the standard itself. So I give up. As a coder, it's like I don't find a standard, so I start my own standard. I use my own schema. I just don't care. So we need the standards as public goods. Standards should not be something controlled by even association organization. It should be something completely open source, in a collaborative way. And I think that's why it's really interesting to have like this place where I can have an NFT that basically I just create my NFT for my platform, but then this NFT is a car, and then I move to a different game and it doesn't work. Why? They use a different language. That's not interoperable at all because we are using this different way of defining data. Okay, so perfect scenario for me. Like I'm a developer. If some of you guys are coders like me, you know, we are really lazy people. We don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. So we just want to go to a place where, okay, this is the schema. That's the schema for a car. It's like a car that inherits from NFT. That's fine. Okay, maybe it lacks some taxonomy, and I just can go to a place where I just can add a proposal. This proposal gets approved. So each schema has its own small mini DAO. And that's fine. I have the new taxonomy I needed, and I just need to upload this data to somewhere. And here's like where Arweave, it's a perfect place for this kind of information if we have the data and the context. And that's it. So I just register in a registry like a DNS of data with context. So with each one of the schemas that data is about. And that's already working. We have all of the smart contracts ready. So even the registry and the different schemas and the way to interact with the schemas, it's already working on top of Arweave within SmartWeave, by the way. So I can have like different contributors and one editor for each one of the schemas. I can work with proposals, approve proposals, or maybe abandon proposals for the schemas. And then I have, finally, it's a GraphQL type schema where I know how data is represented. And if I'm a developer, I just can go, it's like Dryad data NFT collection, and I just put the NFT collection there. And we have a new way of creating all of the metadata for an NFT in a collaborative way, but also it's interoperable because I know how to read this information. So I create the context data, like I can create start page and then read that data, even like read start page. I want to token the number 200, for example, or I can add an organization and even a card inside of that organization. So I have schemas, subschemas, names, and subnames. It's really easy. I just need to deploy the smart contract, register the name, and that's it. I can interact with that. And same with that, if I have data about the organization, humans, NFTs, anything that you can think of, you just need to like go there. It's a one line of code, write data, write a schema, or if there's a schema, add a proposal, build a proposal, but really in quick iterations, not really these months that takes usually to build a standard. And we've been speaking about this with a lot of people. All of them, they agree that we need the standards, and these standards should not be controlled by anyone. So all of them, they believe that we should collaborate. I've been speaking with all of them. And this is what we are planning to do. We already, we finished Q3. So we have an alpha. We want to launch right now with 10 schemas and 100 verified users. Then we will open to more schemas and more users and a partnership program, and in a way that we keep on evolving. And then on mainnet, in 2023, we will launch the first token. We will activate the full economy in a way that people creating and evolving these schemas, they have a reward if people, they use those schemas. So there's the tokenomics that we are building on top of that. We have a team of really experienced people, by the way. And what's more important, the code, you can just go look for the code, or even like contact me on Telegram, talk to me, happy to talk to you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Really cool what you're building. Last but not least, we have Sean and Todd, who are going to be presenting FMD systems.
Thanks, Seb.
Sean, I think you're muted.
Thanks, Seb. Thanks, Arweave team. We're happy to be here today, and here we're here to present on FMD systems. I'm Sean Alfreds, and I'm joined today by Todd Kitchens, and we're here. And today we're going to present on next with our combined 30 years experience in healthcare, how FMD is going to disrupt the U.S. healthcare system by putting data back in the hands of patients. I think everybody here is aware that the U.S. healthcare system is pretty broken. Next, the U.S. healthcare system is the most costly in the world, yet we have millions that have no insurance, huge administrative burdens, clinical burnout, and mediocre healthcare quality. Next. The factors contributing to this broken system include the fact that corporate interests, hospitals, health insurers, others, control how the system works and have every financial interest to keep it this way. How do they do it, you ask? Well, while there's lots of complexities, as you're all aware, the reality is it all comes down to data and information. They control the information flow. You, me, as patients, don't own our medical record data. They do. Next slide. Todd, I think we're next one. But let's say you're not super happy with it. Let's say currently the situation, the system works like this. When you go to the doctor to get treated for, let's say, a broken arm, the doctor adds to your medical record on an electronic system, and only enough data goes for a billing or payment is sent to your insurer. Next. But let's say you're not super happy with that doctor or that hospital, and you want to go and change to a different hospital. Porting over your information is not as easy as it seems. Hospital A may not share with Hospital B, or do so at a slow pace. Sometimes you have to actually ask for your medical record information, and even have to pay what they call as a quote reasonable fee for retrieving your records. Next. And this whole dynamic happens again at the insurance company level. Next. But change is coming. In 2018, a number of regulations related to medical data ownership were passed and are all about to kick in this year. At a high level, what those regulations mean is that all healthcare providers will be required to provide open APIs for patients to access their data. Not only that, these APIs require a transport standard as well as a content standard. Next. This is awesome news for us. This is a huge step forward, but what's still missing are tools that patients can use to store their data permanently, securely, and in a way that allows them to then control who has access to it. Currently, there's nothing in the market, and these regulations come into effect later this year. Healthcare providers are sort of asleep at the wheel when it comes to these things because they want to keep the system working as it does. But we work in the system. Todd and I both are sitting here, and our day jobs are working in this system, trying to break it as we go. Next slide. But this is why we've created FMD. Next slide. FMD, at FMD, we're creating a blockchain-based NFT health record ecosystem on Arweave, using the inherent security of the blockchain, the permanent storage of Arweave, readily available encryption, and smart contracts to allow the consumer, the patient, to take control away from providers and insurers, and allow us as patients to actually control our data by leasing it back to them so that they can do their jobs. Next slide. FMD systems solution includes both on-chain application ecosystem as well as an off-chain application ecosystem. On-chain, we've got permanent storage for data through an NFT-based revenue streams, end-to-end encryption, and key cycling via the Accord API, and DApp-enabled control or access to the NFT health records, basically a key exchange to support what we're calling NFT leasing and commerce. Off-chain, we've got two-factor authentication, patient identification, and patient record locator services using GraphQCs, anonymizing and creating a pseudonym of the record for deployment on the blockchain, and Firebase API data services to be able to pull the data from the health records. Next slide. The shifting of ownership creates a means by which the patient can monetize their healthcare data for use by the insurance and provider marketplace. It flips healthcare on its head in the US. These players will still use the data for their business practices, but the patient now controls what and who and when they can use it. The revenue streams are really interesting when you start to look at this. The patient can monetize their data across and receive transaction fees for every single transaction. Middle layer applications, FMD plus others on the chain can on the ecosystem can create value-added API structures, and then the insurers and providers create a business-to-business structure where FMD can both monetize to those organizations, but also use those organizations as rapid enrollment systems where we can get millions of patients to join FMD through one contract. FMD will move the control back to the person and the incentive back to the provider insurer to be better stewards of our wellness rather than making money off of our sickness as they do today. Next, I'm now going to ask Todd to give us a quick demo of what we've built thus far. So Todd, why don't you go on and pull up the demo?
Great, thanks, Sean. You can hear me okay? I can't see make sure I'm unmuted. Great. So I'm going to give a brief presentation of the core functionality of the FMD systems application. And the first step is I'm going to log in as myself. And in this scenario, I'm the patient or the owner of the NFT patient data. And what you'll see straight away is that it welcomes me to the page, and then underneath there is a pseudonym ID. So this pseudonym ID is actually minted into an NFT, and I'll just quickly demonstrate that or show you what that NFT looks like. It doesn't look like much, but it does show you, the pseudonym name. It lists the PST token name is FMD patient 2, and then there's my wallet that shows ownership. Next you've got the My Data tab here. You can see that I have no new data to import at this point in time. And then there's a list of viewable data, right? So there are a bunch of files here. I have access to everything. And what I've done is I've shared my data through what we're calling leases, which is essentially the sharing of a decryption key with users that I choose. And you can see that this first user here, they had a start date of June 1. It ended on June 28. So their lease is complete. And then there's a second viewer that started on the 28th and goes on to the 15th. Okay, so I'm going to log out here. And I'm going to log in as the first viewer, which is the customer, right? And you can see here, again, there's my pseudonym, right? So I'm the one that shared the view access rights to this customer. And you can see that their lease has expired. And they only have access to this first file, this helloworld.txt file, because it was shared June 26. And these files are all being accessed via the Accord API, which connects to our Weave network. And all of the other files here, which, in the final deployed version, customers won't have access to, or they won't even see these files because we will filter them out. But I left them in here for the purpose of showing that they actually clearly only have visible access to the one file, and the other ones are screened out and they can't access it. So if you click on the one, it takes you to the Hello World document. It decrypts it, and it's again, it's end-to-end decryption via the Accord API. And I'll go back here. And yeah, so I'm going to log out as the first customer here, and I'm going to log in as the second customer. And you can see here that there are two active leases, right? They have both shared by my pseudonym. And the first lease, again, ended on the 28th, and it's complete, but they still have access to it, right? Because the new customer, the new lease, gets all the past data and then the future data as well, right? And then they have access to everything from June 28th, and we set it to be good through July 15th. And you can see here that they have access to all of these records plus the old record. And I'll just demonstrate what it'll look like for one of the patient health records. And if you click on the ID, the transaction ID here, it would actually download the decrypted file. Great. So I'm going to log back out here, and then I am going to switch back to Sean to finish the presentation.
Great.
Take it away,
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Todd. That's super cool, and we're really excited about this, as you can tell. We came up with this idea back in February this year, after years of experience in making interoperability work within the healthcare systems, but always running into the problem where patients have no control, and the business interests of the providers and insurers, which sometimes are most of the time misaligned with our interests as patients, get in the way of sharing. Next slide. So 1.2 million. This is the number of patients that we believe in the next 6 months we'll be able to enroll in FMDS, based on the organizations that we're already working with, and able to engage in exploring this. And these are insurance companies. These are providers. Next slide. We came up, as I said, we came up with this idea in February. We've begun, as you can see, we've got this. Todd and our team has built this to the point where we're it's actually real, and we can leverage these standards that are coming out this year. Healthcare is so complex, and we talk about legal contracts with the previous presenters here. This is an area where it has been really difficult, but it's because of these new regulations that we're able to move very quickly this year. Next slide. So our roadmap is pretty straightforward. This year, we're developing the prototype, socializing the business concept as I've described. We've got our business plan, and we're seeking out seed capital right now. During 2023, that's our V1 development of both the on-chain and off-chain software in our pilot rollout with our V1 clients. And then as we push through to mid-2023 and into 24, that's where we're enhancing. We're starting to roll this out and looking for stage A development. Next slide. So quickly, just to end this, I just want to tell you a little bit about ourselves. I'm the co-founder of FMD Systems. I've been working in healthcare interoperability for over 20 years. Over the past 5 years, I have been and continue to serve as the executive director and CEO of the Health Information Exchange in the state of Maine. We work with over 900 different healthcare organizations using a distributed IT system to support coordinated care, reducing errors, assessing risk, promoting quality care, and making real-time data available for providers around the state. We also have a for-profit subsidiary where we take what we've done there and the software we've developed and deploy that nationally. And because of these issues, though, we found that we've got to create different structures. And what Arweave's done with permanent storage, and with these new regulations, this is a whole new opportunity for us to free the data. FMD, free my data. So that's who I am. I'll ask Todd to introduce himself and his experience.
Great, thanks, Sean. Hi again. I'm Todd Kitchens, co-founder, chief information officer, and chief medical information officer for FMD Systems. I have over 12 years of experience as osteopathic family medicine physician. Practicing academic medicine at a training program for medical residents. I hold clinical teaching faculty appointments at the University of New England, Boston University, Tufts, and the University of Vermont, and have completed a fellowship in integrated medicine at the University of Arizona, Andrew Weil Center for Integrated Medicine. And I've served in multiple leadership roles in academic medicine, both locally and nationally. My prior career was in brand design and web development, and have a strong interest in how digital health technology can serve a critical role in the health of individuals and populations. And I'm super excited to be working with Sean and the Arweave team. So thanks everyone for your time. Back to you, Sean.
All right. Thank you all. I want to just give a quick special thanks to a few folks that have helped us through this, our initial efforts, including Jeremy Dose for help with the DApp development, Richard, Veronica, and Pascal at Accord, and the Arweave community on Discord, including Dan McDonald for the technical and moral support, and Tom Wilson for the help with SmartWeave NFT contracts. And of course, thank you to the Arweave team, Sam, Seb, Jesse. We really appreciate your time today.
Yep, and please come and visit us during the Mingle session. Look forward to it. Back to you, Seb.
Thank you very much, Todd and Sean. That was really cool. Thank you very much to all of the presenters and to all of you in the audience right now. We're gonna kick things up and move to the Mingle area. So, don't go anywhere except the Mingle area. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us. See you on the PermaWeb.